Stacey Abrams is a blithering idiot, okay? If it's not her lumbering about on a Hollywood stage pretending to be president of Earth in Star Trek Discovery or Picard or something like that. I don't know. She played a planet or a president. Can't quite remember. She's making some of the dumbest claims alive. Still continuing to echo, the election was stolen from me in 2018 and Brian Kemp's illegitimate. See, you can make those claims if you're on that side and you're talking about the right type of politics. Love you, YouTube. But she's going to be not her running. The campaign's going to be running again this year, this November, in fact, against Brian Kemp once again, regrettably. And this should be a claim that sinks her already failing fucking campaign because, again, Brian Kemp's not exactly loved by the Trumpian side of the Republican Party, which is, let's be honest, the entire Republican Party at this point, for the better, for the better. But when you say something this anti-scientific, anti-logic, I would just have this. If I was running the campaign for Brian Kemp, I would just be having this speech run on fucking loop behind me. Pro-abortion Stacey Abrams sparks outrage. Adams. Sorry, I don't know who Stacey Abrams is. Sure, she's a lovely lady. Stacey Abrams. This is Abrams tank. Yes, big, strong, and has the same odd gap in their grill. Sparks outrage after saying fetal heartbeats are a manufactured sound. Yeah, that's the party of science, folks. The fetuses, yeah, they don't have heartbeats. It's just manufactured. It's just all made up. Designed to convince people, strap in, folks, men have a right to take control of a woman's body. Unfucking believable. Doctors make up heartbeats. Doctors go against the Hippocratic Oath, okay? To just fucking make up a sound, just so men can subjugate women. Are you fucking kidding me? Holy. Stacey Abrams has sparked outrage after claiming that fetal heartbeats are manufactured sound which allow men to take control of a woman's body. Okay. Democrats' gubernatorial nominee for Georgia previously opposed abortion rights, but after admitting she was wrong, made a U-turn. The very large, very robust U-turn to become a pro-choice advocate. During an event in Atlanta, she claimed that there's no such thing as fetal heartbeat at 6 weeks of gestation. Okay, cool. So she knows more than a doctor. Another thing that she and her ilk are allowed to get away with. You're just so openly unscientific. You're allowed to peddle this misinformation. Nobody's ever going to come after you. Nobody's ever going to strike your campaign for an obvious fucking lie. It's just... boy. Anyways, taking aim at a controversial heartbeat law. Under the current legislation, abortion is banned under if a fetal heartbeat is detected, which often cannot be heard until a woman is at least 7 weeks pregnant. Yeah, imagine that. So if you hear it at 6, it's a viable human being that has the rights enshrined by the United States Constitution. All right. If it's at 7 weeks, there you go. Apply is needed. What else are we talking about here? And I've argued this before in previous videos. We're eventually going to have to update the whole fetal viability until it gets to a point where the United States Supreme Court is going to have to decide, when does life begin? Conception? Birth? It seems like it lies somewhere in the middle, okay? When does a human being begin and a fetus ceases to be a simple clump of cells? U.S. Senator Lindsey Adams, maybe that's where I got the Adams from, slammed her comment saying that it's trying to change science and denying that the baby has a heartbeat. Yeah, exactly. Abrams appeared to be talking about the technical definition of a heartbeat. She has no fucking idea what the technical definition of a heartbeat is. All she knows is that after she has a 10-piece with a couple of biscuits, she knows what her heartbeat sounds like, because it's basically coming through her fucking chest. Oh, which is the electrical activity caught on the vaginal ultrasound that is used to mimic a heartbeat. Okay, well, whatever the fuck. But again, I want to pick up on the point where it's like, okay, cool. Doctors fake hearing a heartbeat so that men can control women's reproductive organs. Can we talk about that for a second? Or is this just, oh no, female mental point of origin where it's like, okay, it affects women, that's why it's bad. Can we discuss the latter half of this comment? Because that's just as fucking retarded. Addressing the audience at the event, she said there's no such thing as a heartbeat at 6 weeks. It is a manufactured sound designed to convince people that men have the right to take control of a woman's body. Okay, cool. What about all of the women that would have voted for that law to go into effect? Are they just internalizing their own misogyny? Like, is that the type of argument we're going to be going through here? Columnist, oh God, I thought one fat disaster was enough. Meghan McCain also hit out at Abrams saying, hearing my baby's heartbeat. Oh my God, female solipsism on top of this. You can't make this shit up, kids. Oh, baby's heartbeat at 6 weeks is hands down the most exciting, liberating, and most beautiful moments of my entire life. Well, McCain was also a part of another liberating, exciting moments of my life when I heard the news that John fucking finally croaked. Senator Adams added, Stacey Abrams is perfectly encapsulates the belief and direction of the Democratic Party that when it comes to the unborn, deny science and support abortion on demand up until the moment of birth, or in California, after birth. You can just kind of wait for it for a minute, and if it's like, that kid didn't quite come out the way that I would have liked it, apply is needed. But yeah, I think I was talking about this in a video not that long ago, but here's where abortion is being anywhere that it's colored, which is kind of odd. It's actually fewer than I was selling it before, but other places I'm sure perhaps are talking about, or maybe they just don't fucking care enough, because again, this is a fringe of a fringe that gives so much of a fuck about abortion to begin with, okay? Because again, if you go and ask your traditionally minded, people of color, as the left would like to call them, not exactly the biggest fan of abortions, okay? They're more conservatively minded, and they would tend to agree with a lot of conservative talking points if you would just take that term out of it. Because God is very central to a lot of black and Hispanic households. If you want proof of concept on that one, just go and talk to them about the LGBT rainbow agenda. If you want a super fucking base take, go talk to an old black couple about that and see what kind of a fucking response you get. Have your fucking shoes blown right the hell off. But yeah, whenever I was talking about this, like I was saying before, unless you're in, the deepest parts of Louisiana, Alabama, barring your employment at one of these places that says, oh, don't worry, ladies, in order to keep you as a trusty number out there, we'll go ahead and pay for a long weekend vacation out to California so you can get the old suck and scrape. It's like, realistically, it's just a short drive, and I live in Canada. Like, everywhere is a pretty decent drive. So yeah, unless you're in the Florida Panhandle or somewhere in the deep southeast, you're going to be fine, okay? This extreme position only works if you deny science. Today's outrageous statement fits a pattern. I'm sure that was Senator Adams once again. Abrams is a socialist on economic matters, soft on crime, and now wants to deny even the most basic protections to the unborn by claiming that they do not have a heartbeat at 6 weeks. And again, what the fuck does she even know? She's wrong on so many levels. Dr. Kelly Ward, hey, this lady is based out of her mind. She's terrific. Chairwoman of the GOP in Arizona said, this woman not only again proves that she's a total idiot or a liar, I love her, but also shows how gullible her supporters are. Oh, no punches pulled. Sports commentator Michelle Tafoya added, so, Stacey Abrams, when my male doctor told me I could no longer hear my baby's heartbeat as I lost a pregnancy after pregnancy, was that a fake too? Ooh, a little solipsism on display there. It's all about me. But a fair question, too. Did they manufacture the absence of my baby's heartbeat in order to force me to terminate my pregnancy? Yeah, I guess so, under Stacey Abrams' definition. It's all about men's control, because this is how stupid these fucking people are. The Abrams types that are out there. Oh, abortion's just all about what a bunch of white men want to do with women. They just want to control everybody. They just want to fucking jerk off to the fantasy that would be the Handmaid's Tale or whatever that fucking feminist tripe is. Garbage books written by a stupid fucking Canuck. But it's so funny. It's very funny and a touch ironic that that side of the aisle, whenever they want to make these arguments, somehow just boil themselves down to reproductive organs, okay? They're just simply a cunt and a uterus. That's it, okay? But then if the other side of the aisle is like, oh, you're just kind of sexualizing yourself, okay? You're just boiling yourself down to your most base functions. But when you reframe all that type of stuff, then all of a sudden you can't quite define which section of society are most affected. It's so weird how the left has somehow figured out what a woman is so quickly. I know that old gag. Spokesperson for Abrams' campaign said she supports the guidelines established in Roe v. Wade and Planned Parenthood v. Casey, which justices found a fetus was viable at about 23 weeks. In a statement, they said Stacey Abrams has already stated her support for limits in line with Roe and Casey. And well, why? They're the fucking bad law. They've been tossed out. Congratulations. I support the United States Constitution prior to the ratification of the 19th Amendment. But guess what? Hey man, that's not the fucking world that we live in right now. And doctors have been clear on their so-called heartbeat laws. It's not medically accurate. Unfucking believable. Abrams was pro-life until she turned 30, well, like 3 or 4 decades ago at this point, and has now made an aggressive switch to speak out in support of the pro-abortion movement. Yeah, I'm sure she definitely holds all of those fucking opinions very close to her sizable chest, even though she has kind of a fucking flatzo. That's sad. Nothing worse. But no, in order to be a Democratic candidate in today's day and age, you need to advocate for killing babies from orbit. Her comments came less than a week after she told The View that she supports abortions until the time of birth in some cases. However, OBGYN Dr. Nisha Verma on the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists agreed with Abrams' comments, of course saying that the term fetal heartbeat was misleading. And you know who else agrees with her? Well, our good friends over at Planned Parenthood, and the founder of Planned Parenthood probably wouldn't have been the biggest fan of Stacey Abrams if you know anything about Margaret Sanger. Planned Parenthood changed the definition of heartbeat, and retcon began. Yeah, after Stacey Abrams made her stupid fucking comments, Planned Parenthood had a definition and an understanding of what a viable fetus is in whatever state you're in, and then it included hearing a fetal heartbeat, and then all of a sudden, after she made those comments about a day or so later, the fetal heartbeat thing is just magically gone. Stacey Abrams is the perfect Democrat politician. She's boorish, deceptive, arrogant, and a liar. Hot air. Love the editorialization. And of course, that means that the MSM is desperate to protect her and even the most well-deserved criticism. And that's why everybody and her brother jumped on board, and that's not a real heartbeat bandwagon. Ed wrote about the absurdity of her claims. I'm sure that's another author on the site. That the patriarchy intervened to sound the fetal heartbeats in order to further, white supremacy or something. The RNC quickly tweeted out a bizarre assertion to ensure that it didn't get memory hold. And that's the clip. I'm a little skittish about clips lately, and I don't need to get another strike or another restriction. I'd like the Eye of Sauron to be firmly off me for the moment. Twitter wars broke out. Fact checkers discovered that ultrasound doesn't actually have anything to do with actual sounds, and doctors were schooled in the fine points of fake science. We learned from total ignoramuses that ultrasound measures electrical activity. Yeah, they don't. And I expect that we will soon have some explanations of how pale penis people are responsible for women being the only people with wombs. Yeah, funny about that. Somehow, there's a white male conspiracy involved in anything that displeases a leftist. Yeah, of course. There was a conspiracy involved in Abrams' claims that it wasn't the white supremacists involved in perpetrating it. A lot of doctors were left scratching their heads because nothing Abrams or the fact checkers asserted made any sense. So where did her claim come from? The fraud has roots in stealth changes to definition of a heartbeat that were made just after the Dobbs decision was handed down, the ultimate law that ended up usurping Roe and Casey. Because, of course, they did. Evil people do evil deeds. So this is from Life News. Had the story back in August for the second time in a month. Planned Parenthood is being called out for changing medical information on its website to match the pro-abortion talking points. In July, the abortion chain altered a section about ectopic pregnancies. Amid false claims, the pro-life laws ban medical treatment for the condition. Then, this week, a pro-life medical doctor noticed that Planned Parenthood also changed how it describes an unborn baby's heartbeat. Dr. Callum Miller, a British medical doctor and ethicist, published 2 screenshots of the webpage about early fetal development Monday on Twitter. The earlier version states that an unborn baby has a very basic heartbeat at 5 to 6 weeks of pregnancy. Yeah, that was what was on Planned Parenthood website. Until Stacey Abrams had to open up her mouth to speak and not to eat for once. In the new version, however, Planned Parenthood uses more politicized roundabout language that detracts from the truth. A part of the embryo starts to show cardiac activity. Some might call that a heartbeat, but you know what? Hey, cardiac activity, the heart moving. Weird. According to a new description, it sounds like a heartbeat on an ultrasound, but that's not a fully formed heart. It's the earliest stage of the heart developing. It's not a heartbeat until we say it's a heartbeat, just like they say that it's not a baby until we say it's a baby. Okay. But again, if conservatives wanted to win on the fucking facts instead of these moralistic appeal to emotion arguments, you know what they do? They would just look at the statistics. I broke them down, especially when it comes to Florida. 95% of abortions are purely fucking elective. Leftists want to talk about, we need to have a talk about sexual education. Okay, but now you're just wanting to have those talks conducted by men in drag talking to kids. hoping that their dress covers their balls so they don't pop out. Or by a shop teacher handling a plank of wood, making sure that it doesn't get caught in their giant prosthetic breasts. Men don't want to control your bodies any more than any of the women that voted for these new laws to put restrictions on abortion want to control, okay? They're just all out there trying to uphold the human rights afforded to every living life. And in certain states, in certain places, life begins at 6 weeks, begins at 8 weeks. It begins at 23, 26 weeks if you want. If you bang on those issues, they wouldn't have anything but emotional ploys to come after you. Just shaming language, insults, guilt, needs to be right, and you'd win on every fucking issue. But of course not. You just got to make it all about yourself. You got to wheel out all of your fucking trad thoughts out there.
Oh, when I heard my baby's heartbeat at 6 weeks, it was just the most amazing thing that I've ever heard my entire life. And I've left a kid before, and it was at 6 weeks, and I just heard their heartbeat. Now it just lingers in my mind forever, and I get haunted by the nightmares of what could have been.
Who fucking cares? Bang on the facts. Like Stacey Abrams bangs on a buffet table. God, she's gonna lose, and I wonder what her spin on it's gonna be in 2022. Fuck her. But with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.